I think I am all set up. Got my water, got my drink.
All right. Before we get started, have you ever heard Lady Gaga's Christmas Tree?
No.
So she put out this Christmas album. It's not very well known because it's terrible. It is one of the worst Christmas albums that has ever existed. But one of the songs that very briefly got some radio play was a song called Christmas Tree. I can't remember who the guest artist on it was. It was some pop person I had never heard of and still can't remember. The song is essentially, oh man, I'm going to butcher it, but it's like, light me up, put me on top, let's fa la 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 la, let's go.
Whoa.
It's so bad. It is genuinely a terrible song, and I listen to it every winter season because sometimes there are things that are so bad that they cross over into good. And that's how I feel about Madonna's Die Another Day. Like, I know it's a bad song. I know it sucks. I still love it.
I've not heard it. I have to put it on my Christmas list. We have some basic Christmas songs that we enjoy, but they're very dancey. So,
well, this one is very early days Lady Gaga when she was very horny. So give it a listen before just unilaterally deciding.
Putting on the Christmas list. Just from your initial, it was like, well, that is ripe for innuendo, or that it's exactly what it means.
Very filled with innuendo.
Oh boy. As is James Bond always.
Exactly. Hello and welcome to Potato Chip Pictures, a movie franchise review podcast. My name is B. Sammy Davis.
Hello, I'm Justin.
And today we are looking at Die Another Day, the 2002 James Bond movie that ended up being the last of the Pierce Brosnan era of movies. And,
pretty unceremonious send-off. I feel like they did not anticipate this being the last one.
This whole movie proves that you really should have a plan, because this movie marked the 40th anniversary for the franchise, because Dr. No came out in 1962 and this came out in 2002. So you got the 40th anniversary, and on top of that, this was the 20th official movie in the franchise. Like, if you're gonna have a big shindig and a big send-off, this is gonna be the one. And so behind the scenes, they were trying to get big name directors, including John Woo. And every big name director said no, because there just wasn't enough time for them to put something together, because they need years to make their movies. So they ran out of time. They just had to get any director they could. And then they had one script going, but they scrapped that script and they were like, no, we need something a little more traditional. Plus we need to have all these throwbacks to older Bonds. They had the musician who has been doing all of these scores for the Brosnan era. They tasked him with bringing in musical cues from older movies, including Thunderball. Like, it's just a big hot mess, and it didn't need to be. They just should have had a plan.
Could have just been a really good Bond film. I mean, maybe in the moment it makes sense to add bits and pieces from all of the James Bond films, but I feel like hindsight, that just means you have, 20 different film pieces? Some of them should have been easy to put in.
Yeah. I mean, really, I feel like they could have left it at the Q branch when they eventually go there and we see a bunch of the old tech. But they wanted to have throwbacks to everything. That's the reason Halle Berry wears her orange bikini. Is they and she has a knife, but they got the coloring wrong because in Dr. No, Ursula wears like this cream bikini. She's got a bigger knife. Like it's.
I thought that seemed really, really similar.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest like. That's pointing the finger and saying, see, they're trying to, have throwbacks to all these older movies.
Yeah, that definitely felt like it then.
Yeah. And you can do things like this. You just have to plan. And I feel like recent history has shown that a lot of times these corporate media owners don't really have a plan. They find out that there's a big significant anniversary coming up and they think that they can just make something happen really quick. I'm looking at you, Disney's Wish, that movie that I mean, if it had just been allowed to be a movie, it would have been a fine movie, but instead it's like, no, it's 100 years of Disney and look at all of these things that we're referencing and then it just falls apart, just falls to pieces because you don't know, are you looking at a museum piece that is paying tribute to the old stuff, or are you looking at a new work of art? And that's how I feel about Die Another Day is like, come on, just pick a lane and go in it.
Well, having not known that and taken all the notes, I think that will explain a bit of it wasn't jarring, but it was definitely felt like a throwback to all of the classic things that have happened for Bond.
Yeah. All right.
Which isn't awful, but
Exactly. I have no issue with giving me a throwback to the old days. I mean, celebrate your 40 years. Go for it. I wish in 2012 they did something for the 50-year anniversary, but it was Skyfall, and I don't think Skyfall cared about the fact that it was an anniversary year. All right, let's talk about budget and all that other stuff. So this one was directed by Lee Tamahori. He was a New Zealand filmmaker. He didn't really have a lot of big movies. He did work on... let's see. No, he didn't. He worked on the sequel. He worked on XXX State of the Union in 2005. So he didn't even get to work on XXX, the first big spy killer.
I don't think this one lacked direction. I mean, I feel like most of the things felt like a normal movie. So I don't know if there's a real big criticism for his direction.
I guess so. There's just some times when I just hate it so much, and there's
only so much you can do with an Academy Award winner. There's only so much, right?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Halle Berry won an Academy Award the previous year. She is an Academy Award winning actress coming into this movie, and she did not do a great job.
Maybe it was the writing. I don't know.
Yeah. There's so many things. And then when you point to the writers, they have also expressed their own disappointment with this particular work. And they have also pointed to the fact that there was a different story ready to go. It was scrapped and they had to really work on this new one very quickly, but they also wanted to work on the next one because they are the writers for Casino Royale. And so I have trouble looking at the writers and saying that they did a bad job too, because I know in the next movie they did a good job.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, it's very hard to point the finger at any one thing and say that's what kind of messed up this movie. I think it's just a situation where the weight of all of these straws is what broke the camel's back. But anyway, 2002, the final of the Pierce Brosnan movies. He doesn't know it's the final of the Pierce Brosnan movies. We don't know it's the final of the Pierce Brosnan movies until the next year. It started with the biggest budget of all to date, $142 million.
Seems like a lot.
It is. Now, in context, that's only $7 million more than 1999's The World Is Not Enough. But at the same time, that's $7 million more. Like, they cannot bring these budgets down anymore. They are always going up, and they're always going up a lot. And then, The World Is Not Enough. Let's put ourselves back there. That had a return of $362 million. That was the best that had ever been done at the time. Die Another Day, with a budget of $142 million, comes back with $432 million in the box office. It did so well.
For why? Why did it do so well?
It clearly, they hyped this movie up. There was a desire to see Bond in his 40th anniversary on his 20th movie. Like, the audience was there for it. A lot of people were there for it. I think, let's get into it. There's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot that actually happens in this movie, and that's the problem with the movie. We can't keep looking at the pre-production, the script, or the director and be like, which one of you is to blame? Let's look at the movie and see if the movie itself is to blame.
Well, the entire movie starts at the very intro. It's not disassociated from it at all.
Yep.
Bond meets the bad guy's second in command, and the bad guy's dad.
Yeah. So, the major players are here from the beginning.
Yeah. I think overall it was a standard Bond mission fare, except I feel like usually he fails at some portion of his mission, but this one ends up with him getting captured. But
yeah, like no attempt at escape, just fully captured. But I've got a few things to say about it.
Oh yeah.
This opening mission might be the best part of this movie for me. I do enjoy watching them surf. It's so impractical, and anyone would see surfers coming in because of how they disturb the water. Like, you just see it from a mile away and you're like, oh, that's a surfer.
Submarine maybe could have worked.
Yeah, but they're surfing on top of these massive waves, but it looks cool. I'm not going to begrudge the art of cool, and surfing giant waves is cool. So I'll give it
your disguise underneath your wetsuit, and it turns out just fine after you get out.
Yeah, and maybe that was another callback to
maybe
Goldfinger. I think Goldfinger was the one where he gets out of the water in his wetsuit and then takes it off, and he's in a tuxedo, and it's perfectly dry. And so, yeah, like it could be that was the callback that they were looking for in that one. But Bond is able to capture an arms dealer, and even though they have totally different faces, they wear the same clothes, and that will be enough to fool the North Koreans.
Plenty. Because, I don't know, 2002, no internet yet? I mean, a little bit of internet. Phones.
Yeah. And the other thing I'll say to this movie's credit, I like that we have a real world country as the bad guys again. We've kind of had that for a lot of the Brosnan era. It really was only the Timothy Dalton era where they would make up countries in order to not offend anyone.
Then we get a decent 100% bad country to blame our Bond escapades on.
Exactly. And then the great thing that this movie does, and it's the thing that kind of okay, so a couple of movies ago we had the better version of crap, why am I forgetting the name of the movie? Tomorrow Never Dies. There was Katie Lang's Surrender, dash Tomorrow Never Dies at the end credits, and that made me dislike the whole movie more because they had such a good idea and then they wasted it. This one, the guy they have playing Colonel Moon, Will Yoon Lee, he's a wonderful actor, and I think he would have been a fantastic villain for this movie. He's only in this
opening scene. What are you talking about?
Scene.
He is.
Oh,
yeah. He does a good job. I felt like a little bit of what do you call it? Like the beginning of a book where you just are learning about all these characters and they'll offer up the information about themselves with just minor prompting, like, oh, you like cars? Oh yeah, all these cars just hanging out in my thing because Western hypocrisy is bad. It's like, but you got a million nice cars. Like, so he did a good job, sure.
And really, my only, like, we saw the physicality when he's, the very first time we see him, he's beating up a punching bag that has his anger therapist inside of it. But we get this very physical boss who's doing martial arts. And it's just one of those things where every time I watch the movie, and because I know that spoilers for this movie that we're going to spoil all the way through this podcast, he does become Gustav Graves, a white guy. That just further kind of insults me. I'm just like, come on, you had a much better villain, and now you're replacing him with this doofy nerd who like doesn't scare me at all.
He had a very like off-putting look to him, the Gustav guy, but yeah, probably would have had to change the storyline. But
yeah, the story
put
has
him in
to
a different
change.
country.
Yeah,
it's not like people would want. Like, there's other North Koreans, like the Zhao guy ends up killing Chinese intelligence agents, presumably somewhere else than in China. So why couldn't this guy just be himself somewhere out there being nefarious?
Exactly. But regardless, he's the actor playing Colonel Moon in this opening sequence. I like him a lot. And I also like Zhao in this opening sequence. He's big and imposing. He's like bigger than everybody else. And I don't know, when they try to put him in whiteface, he becomes less imposing.
I don't know what they were going for. Like, the diamonds look cool. I understand the process of like changing his appearance so that they don't know he's North Korean or something.
Yeah.
But to what end? I guess maybe the context of 2002 might be like, well, it'd be like Cuba, nobody's gonna do business with you if you're North Korean.
Yes.
Maybe that's why he's supposed to change.
That is 100% correct. And the whole thing about the movie is that he doesn't get to finish his gene therapy. He was supposed to go through and have all of his North Korean genes replaced with white genes. And oh my God, this movie.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, Bond convinces Moon to bring in the weapons. He gives him his... Okay. In the helicopter, Bond took the diamonds and he put 2 sticks of C4 just inside the suitcase underneath the diamonds. And I keep sitting here thinking, why don't they move around? Like, why didn't he put more in there? Why 2? Like, what? I don't understand. But he's given the diamonds away. He's looking at all these weapons. And that's when Zhao discovers that this is James Bond. He's a British assassin.
Surprise.
Oh, no.
We didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it does set up there's an informant, but then that thread I forget about.
Yeah, Bond is a lot more obsessed with that thread than the rest of the movie. And so while it does get cleared up and taken care of, I did notice that the only one who seems to care that there is an informant inside of MI6 is Bond. Like, nobody else cares.
Yeah.
Moon grabs this rifle that apparently is loaded with depleted plutonium. Uranium. That's what it was. Depleted uranium. And I don't know what that means, but it blows up helicopters real good.
I feel like I've heard it from different shows, and I never really cared to find out if it does anything spectacular. But these ones do.
Yep, they blow up helicopters.
Just that easy.
But then, you can't just blow up helicopters, because then your dad is going to call and say, why is there fire?
Yeah. Like, you have all of this stuff just hanging out. Like, this is a whole full base of stuff.
Yeah.
And he gets nervous that his dad's coming to find all this contraband in North Korea and tells him to just, take off. Like, go hide it, I guess, somewhere.
Like, take it wherever it was before, because my dad will never look there.
This giant blown up helicopter and all these tanks.
Oh, man. But
so I guess that's a low point of the intro, because the rest is him on a hovercraft trying to get away.
Well,
and then also try and catch up.
It starts with a bang, because in the most awkward sequence, they're like, kill Bond, and they line Bond up in a firing squad position.
Don't shoot him.
Yeah, and they just stand there and watch him, and then he grabs at his watch and fires off that C4 in the diamond case. That's what launches the diamonds into Zhao's face, and apparently surgery cannot remove diamonds from skin. It's a cool look. It's fine.
Yeah.
This is what, I will forgive a lot of things for wanting to look cool. And this is one of those situations where I'm like, yes, it is dumb, but it still looks cool. So that's where I'm at on Zhao's diamond face.
None of the other people survived in order to get the diamonds in their face.
Yeah, everybody else is dead, but Zhao, the biggest and strongest of them all.
I feel like it'd be a good idea to just jump on the ground and start picking them all up if you're one of his people, because that was a bunch of diamonds.
Put them in your pocket really quick. Yeah. Like, there's chaos right now. Like, nobody knows what's going on. And in 2002, my local propaganda always told me that they were the poorest country in the world. Why aren't they grabbing these diamonds? But, we got to have an action sequence, and now we get our hovercraft chase, which it still looks cool. I'm sorry. Like, this is one of those, like, the intro, yes, it is directly connected to the rest of the movie, and my theory still holds that the closer you tie the intro to the rest of the movie, the worse the movie itself is. But the intro can still be cool. Like, this intro works for me, and I'm having fun on the hovercrafts.
I think I questioned how fast it looks like they're even going, but that's the only thing, because some of the shots are sped up just a tiny bit.
That's true. I barely noticed it, but as you mention it, I'm like, yes. Hovercraft are very cumbersome and slow vehicles.
They don't touch the ground, I guess. Like, I feel like it's a decent premise for what they're trying to do with them.
Yeah,
but I also am like, I don't think these actually go very fast.
And
but
I'm over here thinking, like, in order to hover off the ground, even with the skirt that they have underneath them to kind of contain the air, that's still a lot of air pressure. And if the whole premise is that you don't want any weight on the landmines buried underneath, would the fans and that air pressure still set them off? Is that still, like, weight on top of the mines?
I would expect that, but I don't know.
But not that any of it matters, because at the end of this thing, Colonel Moon's dad, General Moon, is just going to drive up in a regular Jeep, with a whole patrol of dudes in regular wheeled vehicles. So who cares about the landmines?
Guess so.
Yeah, I kind of hate the final hovercraft fight when Bond gets onto the big hovercraft, the boss craft, and he and Moon have their fight. I don't like that Moon pulls out a handgun and exclusively shoots the bulletproof vest that Bond is holding out to the side. Yeah. Like his entire body is exposed and able to be shot, and Moon just shoots the bulletproof vest. I don't like that when Moon grabs the flamethrower and he tries to shoot Bond with it. Bond jumps off to the side and Moon decides to go around the other side. Like, grrr! And then finally, I hate that we get this shot of Bond doing a Jedi Force jump to leave the hovercraft as it's crashing.
I mean, it's honestly just so the bell can be ringing in the next shot.
And so we can have that line.
Yeah. It's not great, the entire thing. It's like, let's have a chase on hovercrafts. And then you say, you just make it work. And you have to figure out how to shoot it and make it convincing. And then Bond needs to survive. Again,
all the way until Bond gets onto the boss hovercraft. And I'm going to call it the boss hovercraft every time because it's bigger than the other ones. I'm having a great time. Like it's just a spectacle. It's not anything meaningful. It's frankly not even that exciting, but it's fun. And so I'm having a good time. It's just when Bond gets on the boss hovercraft and has to find Moon, everything just falls apart. And that's where I'm like, I don't like it. And then, as I said, our super spy with a license to kill who knows the game decides to just give up and not try to get away from the rest of the North Koreans.
Well, it's a waterfall. I can't go any further, I guess.
Yep, I'm trapped.
I think it would be tough to, trying to figure out where they came in to then escape back out without surfboards, I guess, or without a hovercraft. I feel like a hovercraft probably could have gotten them somewhere. I'm definitely
not saying it's an easy escape. I just think that Bond has demonstrated at least the desire to get away in the past. And this time, he just stands there and waits for General Moon to come up and look over the cliff with him and be like, my son is dead. And it's like, yep.
Guess I'll just torture you then.
Yeah. Oh, man. And then we get to probably the best and most original idea that this movie has to offer. It's just not executed well, but that is to show time passing during the opening title sequence.
I feel like aren't most of the shots of just kind of the immediate torture because he doesn't have a beard. Then after the intro, he has a beard, and it's like, well, some time passed.
Yeah, I will have to watch to see if the beard grows over time or if it's just a sudden thing. Because I wasn't paying attention to that. I was more... I genuinely was impressed with the fact that, there's still movie happening in the background of these opening titles. That's weird.
Usually it's just silhouettes being sexy and...
Yeah, and we still get the sexy silhouettes.
We still get that, sure.
Yeah. It's just in the background, there's also a Bond movie still happening. So it's not a great looking opening sequence because I think they put a little bit too much faith in computer generated art at the time.
I mean, I think it looked okay.
Yes. it's very stylized, which makes you can cover up some of the blemishes by making it look like the blemishes are supposed to be there. And the image that I think works the best and demonstrates this best is when Bond is hunched on the ground and we keep cutting to him there, and then this fire lady touching his back, like leaning over him and touching his back, and they just kind of flicker in and out. But when we see the fire lady, Bond is also hyper stylized. And so it works. You know that this is a CG woman touching Bond, but it still looks like it fits with the style. So I'm fine with that. That's all cool. I don't like the scorpions as much.
Yeah, scorpions are not great.
Yeah, like you could have had one or two real bugs just to have them scuttering around, but whatever. We got these Beast Wars era scorpions.
I just watched Beast Wars like last week.
The movie or the animated series?
The animated series.
Yeah.
It's like, it's very Polygon-esque, but
oh yeah.
The Megatron T-Rex talks so like high British speech. Like, oh my, and like, oh man, it's a great trip if you watch it.
And that's kind of the quality of animation you get on these scorpions in the background here. But against the background of all of this, for the third time, maybe fourth time in franchise history, there is a orchestrated song playing in the background. And this one is a very 2002 era Madonna song.
I didn't hate it, but it was very unique, distinct. What's the other words for not great? But it exists.
Now, I don't know if I have cut this, but I'm going to say it again. This is one of those songs that I know is bad. I know it in my heart that this is a bad song, and yet I still like it. I'm so flustered. I'm trying to read this, and it's killing me. I'm gonna wake up. Yes and no. I'm gonna kiss some part of. I'm gonna keep this secret.
Wow.
I'm gonna close my body now. This is such bad writing.
Oof, that is rough.
Those are the first 4 lines of Madonna's Die Another Day. I know this song sucks, and yet I love it. At one point she goes, Sigmund Freud, analyze this. And then says analyze
ridiculous.
This over and over. It's so bad and I love it and I can't explain why.
That's pretty rough.
It's very rough.
Like, try to think of something else to say, I guess.
Yeah, this was the period where Madonna was, she goes through these waves where she's like, I got to get back in the public eye. And she will usually use music to do that. And sometimes she comes out with a song where you're like, wow, that was nuts. And I'm so glad Madonna's still here. And other times you get a Die Another Day where you're like, wow, that was bad. And I kind of want to hear it again.
It was done on purpose, but it's so bad.
Yeah. But, that's all of the intro of the movie.
Yeah. Well,
we're still in North Korea, at least.
We're still in North Korea, and I think we should... I'm trying to think of what parts I like overall of this movie, because I like Cuba, I think, because that one, and right when he breaks back out, which are kind of right together, but I don't know where else they go. They go somewhere in between, I feel like. Cuba.
They go to Hong Kong, and I do enjoy Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Because that's fun. But...
Well, so if we get past the intro after this generous amount of time to get through the first 15 minutes of this movie.
The best 15 minutes of this movie.
I mean, I guess that's true. We might make it through the rest of this movie in 30 minutes.
All right. Well, allow me to kind of start ushering us through some of this plot, and you stop me when you get to something where you're like, that thing, I need to talk about it.
Sure.
All right. After the credits, Bond's got his beard. He's got his long hair. I mean, if I were that skinny, he would look exactly like me. But General Moon is like, you still won't give us any information. But he makes it sound like he's going to kill Bond. They take him to a bridge. Yeah.
Dad General Moon.
Yeah. Dad General Moon. Colonel Moon is, heavy air quotes here, dead. He died at the intro. And the actor playing Colonel Moon is not going to be in any more of this film. So the good version of Colonel Moon is truly dead. But General Moon, that's the dad. He's frustrated that Bond won't give any information. Apparently, this entire torture facility has, in this entire 14-month period, has only had Bond inside of it. Like, wow. They really cared about him.
Unbreakable. Yeah. I feel like even a super spy, 14 months, if they have a mind to actually torture you and you've been disavowed by your country, I think you would crack. Like, holy cow.
I agree. Ugh. I agree, and I think that's going to be a plot point. If not in future Bond movies, certainly in future spy movies. Because that is one of those ideas where you're like, wow. Well, anyway, they take Bond to put him down by another firing squad. They tell him to walk on this bridge. But then all of the guys who are going to shoot him run away. And what's that? There's an American voice telling him to keep moving. And as he walks across the bridge, he sees a man also crossing the bridge. And it's Zhao with all of the diamonds on his face. And they have a brief little chat. We get to see the American head of the NSA. I don't remember the actor's name.
That one guy.
Exactly. He's that one guy. He's a jerk in all of the movies that he's in. He might be a nice guy in real life, but he's never played a nice guy in a movie. So
that's true. Yeah.
And Bond gets sedated and brought to a Hong Kong hospital where he is... The very first thing is we have this biological test to make sure that he is genetically who he says he is. Why does this test exist? Specifically for Bond, because it's never going to come up in this movie about someone changing their genetics.
Yeah.
Just had to make sure we threw that out there.
I wonder if there was a scene where they're getting close to figuring out the twist because of something like that, but...
Maybe in one of the drafts of the movie, but for now it's just another cool thing so we can talk about all the torture that Bond went through. You know, the torture that we got to watch in the that opening title sequence where Madonna was singing to us. Now Hong Kong and MI6 know about it too. But M comes in for probably my least favorite scene with M. She has her chit chat with Bond about how the drugs he was on would have made it so he didn't even know if he had cracked. And they had to get him out of there because there were agents dying out in the real world.
Seems like a post-fact, what do you call it? Justification. Mm-hmm. You didn't know he was on all those drugs.
Yeah, like, And also the agents that she specifically says are getting killed, I think she says they are Americans. How would Bond know anything about like American intelligence?
It's a good point. Oh, yeah.
No, it's the Chinese agents. Sorry. Let me correct myself.
Why would he know the Chinese agents?
Yes, exactly. I was about to outrage again.
Oh, I think M. It's kind of an odd trying to justify why Bond was traded, but like if it was Chinese agents, why did the British get Bond back? Or it doesn't make sense why Bond is the one given back, other than we want Bond because he's a leak. That's
the justification. And Zhao, I guess they just happened to have in custody at the time.
Sure.
So cool for that. But really, all of this is leading up to Bond making a great escape where he wills his heart into stopping beating.
Until they freak out, and then he immediately gets it back to normal heart rate.
Right before they can shock him.
Shocks them with it, escapes, and at least the escape isn't long.
Yes.
He just jumps off of the boat that this thing is on. It seems like it's on a boat.
I don't know if we actually see him leave the structure that they are at, because he's still in his hospital gown when he shows up at the Hong Kong hotel.
And I was okay with he knows people in the right places because he's been doing the spy thing for a while. And you know what? He needs to be somewhere that doesn't need much explaining, because it's explained well enough when Bond is looking for information. I think where you like the intro, I enjoy the crawling out of the river in front of a Hong Kong skyline. If that's what it is, I'm like, wow, good. I want to see that in real life.
I'll agree, this is fine. My only beef with it is that this is the fourth time that James Bond, famous 00 agent from MI6, has gone rogue. It's just that she
rescinded his 00 status. That's right. He's no longer 00, but then she never gives it back.
At least for this entire movie, he never gets his 00 status back. I mean, it's implied that he gets it back.
Implied. Essentially, he retired, so it was the last one.
He's a rogue agent again.
Anyway, I enjoy it because Bond goes from captured, cleaned up, and starts working on getting Zhao. And he has a good point of leverage to say, I want to get this guy that kills your Chinese agents. Just help me get in there and I'll take care of it.
You got to remind the audience how he got in touch with Chinese intelligence, you know?
Oh, well, the bellhop guy at the front that gets him the presidential suite is planning on just recording him with this masseuse that comes in to massage him. And Bond very confidently disarms her and breaks the glass where the Chinese intelligence is recording the room.
Very smooth. It's
like in that other Bond film where they're recording through a mirror.
But he didn't break into that one. That was From Russia with Love, because it was the Russian girl. How you remember this? I don't know either, because, dude, I can't remember what happened yesterday. And yet, for some reason, with these Bond movies, I'm like, oh yeah, they were recording him in From Russia with Love.
So I guess that's a callback that I didn't really think of till just now. Maybe
and
that's why it
certainly has a different ending than From Russia with Love, where Sean Connery just got recorded the whole time.
So I enjoyed the fact that he heard from M that Chinese intelligence had deaths. he goes to a place where he knows a Chinese agent, uses the things that he needs to get trimmed and shaved, and immediately trades his, I guess, freedom and non-00 status to get back after Zhao. And he has the people that can help him push him along on that, because he doesn't have MI6 to
you mentioning that just made me realize, why the hell did the Chinese intelligence decide to help him? Like,
yeah.
why didn't
Other
Mr.
than he
Chang
just offered, but yeah.
Yeah. But Mr. Chang should have said, like, this is a very compelling offer. We'll figure out where Zhao is. But why do I need to get you a passport? Like, ask MI6. You know we're spies. We know you're a spy. Like, get your people. They don't know that he's been disavowed. Like,
yeah, I would like to try and figure out when he gets implied back into 00 status. Like, well, she trusts him again. Okay, at some point it happened.
Yep, at some point. And, you know, at this point, the Chinese intelligence agency trusts Bond because he wants to get back into North Korea, and they give him a plane ticket to Havana, Cuba. And he's like, why? And I do like Mr. Chang's line where he's like, it seems our mutual friend, Mr. Zhao, has gotten lost in Cuba. Please say goodbye to him for us. And I'm like, yeah, get it, Mr. Chang.
It felt like some spy work. Since he failed at his mission, he's now using his contacts to move on to his personal vendetta, I guess you could call it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that, like in the Timothy Dalton one where the one guy ends up dead.
License to Kill, where it was Felix's wife who gets murdered and Felix who loses his legs.
I'm gonna apologize for whenever it happens, if I throw out a plot point of a movie and you get it completely and confidently wrong, I apologize for putting you in that situation.
What our comments are for. This is the chance. Here we are at Bond's 40th anniversary, movie number 20, and I'm over here trying to remember the 19 previous movies. Like, this is it, audience. Like, leave your snarky comments about all the things I forgot.
It was in Moonraker that he captures the submarine. Like, I doubt it.
Bam, bam. See, I know that one was The Spy Who Loved Me.
Anyway, they go to Cuba and Bond meets up with the sleeper agent, it seems like, and has to give the right code words to make it confirm that this is actually... we need your resources to help us. I don't know if you wanted anything else before Cuba.
No, that I did want to jump in and say that I thought that was very cool because, you know, we get this idea, or we're told mostly through movies, but sometimes through the news, that there are sleeper agents everywhere. They're just waiting for the activation phrase. And we got to see one happen in this movie. It was Bond using the activation phrase. And unlike a Manchurian candidate who would, you know, become a totally different person by hearing that phrase, we've got a patriot, a person who genuinely loves Cuba and loves his countrymen. And he's like, look, I am going to help you, but I will not hurt my neighbors. Like, just so you know, I am still loyal to the cause. I am still a sleeper agent. Not going to hurt a Cuban. And I like that. Yeah. That was probably the most realistic thing I've ever seen from a sleeper agent. Yeah. I'd make a horrible sleeper agent. I'd be like, oh, you're just chit-chatting. Okay. Whatever. Needs to be, you know, I've heard casual. That phrase before. Let me tell you all about. But yeah, I like the sleeper agent. He gives Bond the direction to say, you know, it's on this island where this clinic is, and that's where Zhao was last seen. So Bond has direction. He's got a place to go. Yep.
He gets to go to the beach.
Everybody wants to go to the beach. I want to go to the beach.
I am just now trying to figure out, why was Halle Berry swimming? Does she say?
Nope.
Nope. Like, she's swimming so that she could be wearing a two-piece and harken back to that Sean Connery one.
Yep, the very first one, Dr. No.
Oh, yeah. Dr. No.
And I don't even remember the Bond girl's name in that one. I remember the actress's first name was Ursula, because that's a very easy name to remember. But
yeah,
she was hunting for seashells on this forbidden island.
Yeah.
Here we've got Jinx, played by Halle Berry, coming up. She's got the knife and the two-piece. And I guess she's just chilling. Just hanging out in Cuba.
Yeah. She's eventually planning to go to the same island. And I feel like Bond just kind of senses that she's an agent of some sort, because
I get the vibe
that
too.
That makes more sense for why he's so intent on getting in her pants.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you just saw her and struck up a conversation, and unless this is a plot point, we're just watching Bond get his kicks. Like, maybe he does this on all of his other missions.
Yeah, maybe it's something
not
we don't.
all of the other ones.
Yeah, we just don't usually see it, but this is what Bond always does, and it just turned out that it was a spy this time.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I had to be shown, because it was in this scene, and I watched the movie twice this week, and I missed it both times. You've got that group of jerks off to the side. Bond is making comments about them like predators come out at night, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So one of those jerks, the main jerk, he gets this pass. We're going to find out it is the pass to get onto that island that Bond wants to get onto. And the girl on his lap, we will see her later. It is the next morning when Bond has the wheelchair. He finds that guy, because apparently the guy said his room number. He made a big sign of having the pass. Like, I was sitting here both times when I watched the movie thinking, how did Bond know who to beat up? Like, what on earth is he doing? Why did he go to this guy's hotel room? But anyway, all of that is happening during this initial Halle Berry introduction scene. It's in the background, but it is, one of those things where the movie is keeping track of everything it tells you, even if we're not doing as good a job.
Yeah, I think I did see that in the captions, but not knowing what that place is when they say it is kind of like, oh, cool information. I don't know what to do with that.
Yep, thumbs up. But before we get to that sequence, we gotta have spies being horny, and we gotta have one of the most awkward sex scenes of them all.
I would say it's probably one of the only ones where it's filmed to make it seem like they are actually doing it, and
I'll agree.
All the other ones have seen like, oh, they're kissing in bed, sure they're naked, like they're gonna do it.
Yes,
but this one's like, well, this is technically it's not graphic because you can't see anything, but they are.
But they're bumping and grinding.
yeah, it's like, okay.
This I may end up cutting this, but at one point, Halle Berry does get a little excitable during it. It's right before the knife, and she starts moving around, and we get to see that they had put some very large, very off-color pasties on her.
I don't know, Ben. I wasn't looking that close. What are you talking about?
I was, and that's why I might delete all of it.
Well, let's talk about the knife.
I was going to say, like, and then there's the knife.
She whips out a knife while they're still there together. Out. It came out.
Yes, it's just there now. And then she's got fruit. Where did that come from? It's just out again.
Yeah. But I don't even know what she says. I feel like it's some sort of throwaway innuendo.
Yeah,
but
something about
guys,
being dangerous. Like, I don't
you're
know.
in the moment. You don't need the innuendo anymore.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Well, I mean, they did it so good that for the first time in probably 14 months, Bond got a real good night's sleep.
Right.
And I mean, he
I guess that's
slept
true.
through the morning.
I assume she was there, but then left at some point. But
yeah.
he's got to get on with his mission. So.
Well, and he sees her when he gets up and looks out the balcony. He sees Jinx fully dressed with papers to get onto the island, and she's getting onto the ferry. So Bond does have to get moving, and he probably does not catch the same ferry that Jinx did. Otherwise, they would have seen each other in the boat, and they don't see each other in the boat. So I assume that Bond is just going at a leisurely pace as he finds that one dude's room number, finds just a free wheelchair just out and about. And there's one in the background. So clearly these are things that are in bulk. Like, you can find a wheelchair anywhere in Cuba.
I guess so.
Yeah. He knocks on the door. Dude opens it and he's like, "What do you want?" And Bond knocks him out. There's some clever line. It didn't stick with me, but the lady from the beach is in there. I mention that only because every time I look at her on the beach scene versus in her underwear on the bed, I don't think it's the same woman. I think they switched out extras, but I could be wrong. Could be just a different angle that they were filming her at, and it looks different. Idea. But now, not needing to watch it a third time, now I know why Bond went and beat up that dude.
To get onto the island because... Is that where... Oh, that's probably where his...
that's where Zhao
Cuba guy
is.
Yeah, told him that Zhao was there.
Yeah.
I mean, so he gets to the island, but we're going to follow Catwoman for a while. I was really, really confused by her whole initial scene because she hasn't been, what do you call it? Like, defined. It's not clear that she's a spy. It's not clear what her motive is.
We might be getting spy vibes, but they haven't flat out said it.
She's shooting doctors and stuff. Like, what? Since she's Catwoman originally, I was like, is she like a thief? Is she changing her DNA so that she doesn't have a record anymore?
Yeah, I was like, why is she getting gene therapy? Like, there's all this weird stuff, but then she reveals everything when she pulls a gun and shoots the doctor. But yeah, I was with you. Without knowing that Jinx is a spy, you start thinking like, okay, maybe she's a baddie too. And like, she's got to hide who she is.
Something like that.
Yeah.
She's looking for Zhao. She gets on the doctor's computer and finds out he's going to look like a white guy.
Yep.
And
generic white guy.
Yeah. But why? Probably just for the North Korea thing.
Because Colonel Moon is doing it, and so he's got to do whatever his BFF does.
I guess so.
That's why. And yeah, sure. But even though Jinx has figured out where Zhao is, that's nothing compared to Bond, who has used his knocked out dude who has been unconscious for hours now. Like, he's got...
He might be dead.
Yeah, he's got serious brain damage going on. He had one punch to the head, really took a bad fall, and he has been down for the rest of the movie. But Bond, uses him as a distraction, gets deeper into the labs, and just magically finds the secret button to take you into the deepest, darkest parts of the lab. There's a man with a golden gun style mirror room that he walks into, and it's solely to have a reference to Man with the Golden Gun. It has nothing to do with the movie. It has nothing to do with the labs.
Installation.
Yes. I like knowing that it is a reference to Man with the Golden Gun. I'm like, oh, okay. But every time I was watching it, I was like, why do they have these rotating mirrors in this lab? That doesn't make any sense.
For fun.
It's a fun house in this hospital. But
interior design.
Bond finds Zhao, who is now in whiteface. He tries to wake him up, but Zhao's not waking up, so naturally Bond grabs his IV, and I don't know if that's how things work.
I mean, I've seen it in a couple of movies, but if it's in you, I feel like squeezing it would...
And make the liquid go faster?
Well, I think it tries to exert pressure into the vein, but
I guess
those things are like drip managed. It's not.
Yeah, so they wouldn't.
I don't think you can pressure it like that, but I don't know.
I don't know either. I genuinely don't know. So whatever. But it wakes up Zhao. It starts another action sequence. Yeah. I do like that Bond is still trying to solve the mystery. We said way early in this series that the thing about spy movies is they are part action thriller, part detective story. And here we still have Bond doing some detective work. He's trying to ask Zhao who is funding him, who was Moon's contact in the West. Like, Bond actually wants to do his job, even though he doesn't work for anyone anymore right now.
Well, she tries burning stuff after she's killed the doctor. They chase Zhao, and then she gets to get away.
It's crazy because, like, they both start fires independently of each other.
Yeah.
Because Bond starts a fire during his fight with Zhao, and Jinx starts a fire while she's trying to hide her identity so no one will know that she was Catwoman. But she doesn't do a very good job of it because Bond finds her ID in the room later. But she also plants a bomb, and while Bond and Zhao are running away, they run into Jinx. Bond is like, "What are you doing here? That's so weird. You got to get out of here." And so he runs into the office. Zhao crashes through the CG stained glass window, and Bond gets blown up by the C4 in the office. Should have killed Bond.
It was only a little bit of C4.
Yeah, just one stick.
Maybe that's why.
Not two sticks like at the beginning of the movie. But yes, you are right. The chase continues. Guards are chasing after Jinx.
They've got to chase her. Once she escapes, they don't care about chasing Bond. So
yeah, I mean, like
that's random.
They think Bond's on their side, I guess, because the guards chasing Jinx end up right next to Bond, who has a gun, and they're more concerned with Jinx than they are with Bond. They're like, she jumped off the cliff.
That CGI does not age very well.
No.
I understand that was basically what was done for CGI right then, but man, it does not. She's diving off like 100-foot cliff,
and I think
it looks fun. It looks bad.
It looks very bad. And I think what they did is they had her standing with her hands up like they did, and then they did like this camera angle where they went from like the top and then pan the camera down to her feet. Yep. And so she doesn't really change her position at all. They just change the background, and yeah, it did not age well. It doesn't look good. Most of the CG in this movie doesn't look good, and they put a lot of faith in early 2000s CG. And why not? Matrix did, and that movie did great.
Well, they still had the actual practical camera movement was well done.
Yes.
I was like, this isn't very good in the bits that it's had so far, but I don't know. Most of the rest of the film is nice practical cameras, so it's a relic of being produced in 2002.
Yep. And I mean, that's going to be the case for decades to come, because there are movies that come out these days that have really bad CG. And I'm thinking of the most recent Alien movie. And I can't remember what it was subtitled, but at one point they had a deep fake version of an actor from the 70s movie.
Yeah.
And it looks so bad. Like, they really just should have recast or just used a puppet. But by trying to use a deep fake CG model, it just looks awful. And that's 2024. So, you can't be like, well, it was 20 years ago, because you still have bad CG 20 years later.
Yeah. If it's blended and colored nicely, you don't recognize it as being too bad.
Yeah.
But trying to send an actor image down a giant cliff while it's twisting, and that maybe they could have gotten a reference film from a stunt diver and just put that over top, like a
stunt
tarantula
driver, like just film from afar. But whatever. Anyway, Bond, he found some diamonds on Zhao. He takes them back to his sleeper agent, and so they're talking about the diamonds, and Bond uses a little magnifying glass, and he sees this little engraving on the diamond that looks like a smaller diamond. And he's like, what's that engraving? It looks like a GG. No, it doesn't. It looks like a small diamond. Like, where is he getting a GG out of this?
I mean, very stylized GG, but it just, if anything, it would look like an 8 or something.
Yeah. So I'm glad that they saw it, because it gets the plot moving forward. But I was just like, what is happening? And of course, we've got the brief MI6 scene where the head of the NSA is yelling at M for letting Bond go. And I'm just sitting here like, this is not an American movie. Like, you're not the boss.
Yeah, you feel like they needed somebody to play off of M, but
yeah, and it's usually Bond to play off of M. And in this movie, for the first half of the movie, they just don't have that luxury. There's only one time that Bond and M get to interact. So if you're going to use Judi Dench, then you have to use the actors who are available. And
I guess so.
But now we finally get to meet the real villain of this movie.
Again.
Yeah. Gustav Graves, who is not a natural-born citizen of England, but instead an orphan who discovered diamonds and just became an overnight billionaire.
Yeah.
This is...
Knowing the twist is kind of like, it's starting to make this seem
He
odd.
did all of it in 14 months, including changing his DNA to look like a white guy.
Yeah.
Everything happened in 14 months, and now to cap it all off, the Queen is going to knight him. And
whoa.
Ooh.
In 14 months, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think somebody would have been like, this guy didn't exist 14 months ago. There's something up.
That's the main reason that I kind of wish that we still had Colonel Moon, because at least then it makes sense that, he has had 14 months to prepare. But having him go through this major physical change and the creation of a new person who did not exist 14 months ago and is now one of the world's richest people, like, that doesn't make a lick of sense. But whatever. whatever.
Like, he got a lot of diamonds, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's nearly enough diamonds to make you super rich.
Yeah. And how did you get all those diamonds back? Like, you were dead at the bottom of a waterfall.
Guess what? Your dad thinks you are still dead.
Yeah. So who was loyal enough to go pick up all those diamonds and deliver them to you so that you could start your new life? Like, whatever. We do get probably the best fight scene in this whole movie because
it's decent. I did not get bored.
Yeah, exactly. Bond finds out that Gustav Graves wants to be an Olympic fencer, that he used to do fencing in college. And
why?
It's just what he does. Like, that's just the character of Graves. He's okay. I will admit, the good thing about this character is that I do get the vibe that a billionaire would be the kind of person who would wake up one day and decide, my project is now to break the land speed record of the world, and we're going to do that. And if we don't do it today, we're going to do it tomorrow, but tomorrow I'm also going to become an Olympic fencer. Like, so I'm fine with that, but Colonel Moon had also been a fencer when he was in college. So it's not as though Graves just suddenly has the ability to use a sword. He came with that knowledge. So I will forgive the movie that. What I won't forgive the movie for is introducing a new character that apparently Bond has known for years, but is also meeting for the first time to take a fencing lesson. And that, of course, is instructor Verity, who is played by Madonna herself.
Surprise. I feel like, I don't know that her fame will continue on in such a way that in 20 years, someone watching this will be like, oh, why is it like a dramatic pause on this Verity lady?
They will not.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know if there were people at this time in 2002 who knew who Madonna was. She was big in the 80s. She had a small resurgence in the 90s, and then she tried again in the 2000s, and she will try again in the 2010s. But her biggest time was the 80s. And I don't think I cared when she showed up on the screen. I was like, I don't know who that is. And I was in high school at the time, so whatever. Yeah. She's definitely going to be a big question mark in the future of this movie, where people will be like, why did everything stop so we could see who's on the other side of this corset? And they'll have to Google it, and they'll be like, oh, the lady who sang the opening of this movie? That's the reason we had to stop everything? Like,
yeah.
But, you know, all of that is just to lead us to a fencing match between Bond and Graves. Graves, spoiler for the later half of this movie, knows who Bond is, despite them introducing themselves to each other for the very first time. And, you know, watching it again, Graves does play it off with that arrogance that you would expect from the character. So I will forgive this terrible villain that, because at least he plays it correctly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think there's a lot of things wrong with it being a new identity. I think at that time there was no way to do what like Mission Impossible would be doing. Like, hey, here's a mask and a voice changer, and then, okay, we can set you up as a whatever person. But to change yourself via therapy, like, that seems like it'd be, I guess, the only route they could go in this time period.
See, and
it feels like overkill for what you're trying to do.
And I'm sitting here like, in 2002, Mission Impossible 2 has already come out. So like, It can't be that they are taken off guard by the existence of masks because they've had 2 Tom Cruise movies to demonstrate this. And, but, you know, they're going to do it the hard way. They're going to do it with full gene editing. And all of that to say that there's a big sword fight. Starts with just regular blunted tipped swords. It moves to real fencing foils. Then it moves to a samurai sword against a fencing foil. That doesn't last very long. Then it goes into medieval swords.
Yeah, it was a nice fight. I think
it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Mostly it felt like they kept the actors. I didn't feel like I saw any obvious stunt ones.
If there were any stunt actors, it was their backs. And I don't know if they would have been on screen for very long because by nature of this particular sword fight, both actors are moving so much that in a couple of steps, we're going to see the face of the other actor. So I think they had to learn all of these moves. And why not? Again, 1999 had Star Wars The Phantom Menace with one of the greatest lightsaber duels of all time.
Yeah.
So, you know, people are expecting more out of their sword fights. They're like, I want the actors and I want them to do complicated moves. And I think they delivered. I'm going to say it. I think this is a fun fight.
Yeah. We meet Miranda.
Yeah.
Madonna. Graves. I think it explains enough, and the fight scene is kind of brought on by the diamonds that Bond shows him, but yeah, I think my highest praise is that it didn't look like they used any stunt people. And I enjoy when the actors are able to get filmed.
Yeah.
In those sort of action scenes. Makes it nicer.
I agree.
I did in my notes write that this is a fun end fight, but it feels like it's the last fight with the boss. And I'll admit, I did not expect this guy to be the intro bad guy disguised as a British dude. So it feels like since the movie knows the twist, it was a nice fight between the protagonists and antagonists. Like, awesome.
This is also the last time that Gustav Graves is going to be handsome. When the fight is over, he gets cut in the torso by Bond. He does get punched a couple of times in the face, so he does have blood coming out of his lips. But he still looks like Gustav Graves. At the end of the fight, he invites Bond to Iceland to witness the Icarus Project.
Iceland.
Yeah. And he goes on his way. But when we see him next time, which is going to be several scenes later, his face is going to start deteriorating, and they never address it in the movie. He's got these new scars that show up. I had a roommate who was like, well, in the behind the scenes, they say that the gene therapy is wearing off and that maybe he hasn't been doing it as much as he should. And I was like, except when we first see him in Iceland, he's in the dream machine. He is getting the gene therapy. Where are these scars appearing from? But the movie's never going to tell us about it. It's just a thing that happens, and it doesn't matter. It's just a new scar that Graves gets.
I didn't notice that, but okay.
Now you have to watch this movie again.
I mean, I didn't hate it. I might skim through it again.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those movies where I come back to on occasion to be like, do I really feel the way that I feel about this movie? And so far, every time I have come away saying, yep, I do feel the way I feel about this movie.
Solid 4 out of 10.
Well, before we get even there, we got to talk about the The weird
Cute.
guy who works at the fencing club, who just delivers the spy key to Bond. Like, it's so weird that guy, A, works there, and B, that MI6 trusted him of all people working there to deliver this key. But whatever. We're going to go to the Vauxhall Cross Tube Station, the fabled underground spy network for burnt spies. You know,
I mean, throughout that, I read through it again, and she still doesn't give him 007 back,
nope.
I think.
He does not.
He still talks about, oh, you should put me back on the job, and she just kind of stares at him.
Yep.
Like, okay, so I guess he's still fired? Okay.
He is still a rogue agent officially. And I think he will remain a rogue agent all the way to the end of the movie. Like, maybe after the credits, M will reinstate him. But she is aware that Bond is on the mission. And I think similar to License to Kill, where people were looking up who James Bond is, I think by keeping him off the roster, she believes that she is helping him. But they are going to use this underground station to touch base, share information, offer support in both directions, because M knows that Bond is the best. Like, she's not an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't even remember. It's what they talk about other than, keep going after Zhao.
Yeah, pretty much. She does tell Bond everything about Graves, so we get the entire backstory, the official story of him being an orphan, went to school to be an engineer, discovered a bunch of diamonds in Iceland, donated half of his wealth to the country of Iceland, and then decided to move to England for some reason, and that's the reason he's getting knighted. But he's squeaky clean. That's the big deal.
Sure. Man, they are bad at their intelligence gathering.
He just showed up out of nowhere, and like, you guys are just gonna believe every bit of that story.
If he had just been in North Korea being the main dude, he could have just been here and like maybe. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a million ways to try to think how could we have done this differently. And we'll never get to know because we're stuck with this movie. But anyway, Bond essentially gets M's blessing, and Bond gets to touch base with Q, who is going to get him
a car.
Yeah. Oh, and we also forgot
a jetpack.
We forgot completely about Bond finally getting his Walter P99 back, and he's inside of the SIS building proper, in his office, cleaning his pistol, and then we hear some suspicious noises in the building. And so Bond has to go investigate, and there's a dead body on the floor. And then he takes a step further, and there's a dead body in the desk. And who is it?
It's Moneypenny.
It's a dead Miss Moneypenny.
I admit I was not, like, it's one of those moments when the movie cuts and it's like, oh, okay, well, what's happening now? And I don't really register. He's cleaning his gun in his office. It's like, well, maybe this happened at some point. He got here somehow.
Yeah, maybe I missed a line or something.
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah.
He gets to go through and try and basically beat a video game because it's revealed that it's virtual reality.
It is a video game.
Just glasses, like just sunglasses, but they're special, so it'll work. Yeah. If VR got down to that scale, that would be so cool.
It would be very cool.
The movement and actions don't really work like that.
Yeah, so. That's the problem, is he would have to be, I mean, we have, I don't know what they're called, but they're essentially these circular tracks where you wear a belt, and then that belt is connected to the track that you are on, and you're wearing these slippery shoes, and that gives you the sensation of running and movement and all that other stuff. But Bond doesn't have anything like that. He is in an open room and presumably running around. And he's strapped because he's using a real gun outside of VR. But whatever, it's essentially all a dream. It was supposed to be this big, shocking sequence where everybody's dead, but they're not really dead. It was just a thing. Plus, they needed an excuse to use their version of bullet time. And at the end of this sequence, when Bond shoots M's shoulder, he then puts 2 more rounds in the bad guy, and the bad guy flies back in slow motion because we needed bullet time. That was the big new thing. There's a lot of slow motion in this movie that really should not have happened.
That's what they took from Mission Impossible too.
Yep, lots of slow motion.
We gotta do slow motion, guys.
And they didn't even film it correctly to do slow motion. They filmed it at normal speed and then in editing made it slow motion, so it looks really jarring and
yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, and they do it a lot in this movie. But anyway, Bond gets to go to Q. Q's got all of the old toys, including the hover pack or the jet pack or whatever. There was even the shoe from Russia with Love, the shoe with poison at the tip.
That scene to figure all that out again. I recognized the jetpack. If I had known it was the 40th anniversary, that probably would have been like, oh, what else is in there?
I mean, there's just about every movie's tech is in there. You've got from Octopussy, you've got the crocodile boat hanging in the background. But the 2 that caught my eye were the shoe with the blade on it and the rocket pack. Both of those are from Russia with Love. I think they're both from Russia with Love. Could be that the rocket pack is from a different movie and I'm just forgetting. In fact, it might be the next movie that the rocket pack was in. But the shoes are definitely from Russia with Love. And in that movie, they said that at the tips of those shoes was a deadly neurotoxin. So either that has been removed or Bond should have died because he kept touching the tip of that blade over and over again. He even sniffs the inside of the shoe. It's so dumb and weird.
That does sound dumb and weird.
Yeah. Oh. But we're back to an Aston Martin. We're out of the BMW
It's
phase.
invisible.
Yes.
See, I thought it was an Audi. And I don't know why I always associated the half circle TT Audi car with James Bond, and I don't know why. I feel like it must have been a commercial or something. Yeah. But it's not that.
Nope. This is the very real, very sexy Aston Martin Vanquish. I mean, every time I see the car, I don't know, there was something about the early 2000s cars that were so good. And the Vanquish is one of them where it's a crime that they decide to make this car, they make it invisible for much of the runtime. And it's like, you've got the best looking car you've ever had, and you don't even want me to see it for the whole movie.
I feel like it seems moderately like the one from Casino Royale in a bit. Just probably because of the silver.
Yeah, and we'll have to take a look, because that's not as big of a time gap between reboots. And so Casino Royale could still be using the Vanquish and be like, yeah, it's still a perfectly good car. Let's keep using it. This one's got invisibility, and it annoys me to no end because...
And a bunch of weapons.
Yes, the weapons are cool. I'm good with the weapons. The invisibility is what bothers me. And that's because when Q walks behind it, we see that it distorts what he looks like. And therefore, if you were on one end of the Aston Martin and I snuck up on the other end... you would absolutely see me because there is a camera looking at you at the other end. And later on in the movie, Bond's going to duck behind his invisible car and no one's going to see him. And I'm just like, Arg! Whatever.
Not fair.
Yeah.
It should be seen.
He should be not only visible, but so distorted that everybody would look in that direction. Whatever. We've got some tech, and Bond is ready to go on his way. But first, M has one more meeting, and that's when we discover that Miranda Frost is also an agent. What?
Yeah. So surprising. I feel like, well, like M talks to her and it's basically like, oh, Bond doesn't know you're an agent, but you know Bond is an agent.
Yep.
I feel like that maybe wasn't necessary because nobody is following the mole inside the organization thread. So,
dear audience, just as a reminder, there's a mole issue.
Yeah. Probably could have just let her be, an agent that Bond knows. I don't know that would have changed how it all ended up.
Yeah, I don't know. Because Bond eventually knows that she is an agent, and I don't remember if it's because she tells him or if he's just like, oh, you're the agent that I was looking for. But now we know Miranda is an undercover agent who is investigating Graves. She does not believe anything fishy is going on with him, but MI6 is going to send Bond nonetheless. Therefore, we should go to Iceland and check out our giant CG castle made of ice.
It's a CG castle?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, that one feels more like obviously CGI, but the dome looks like real.
Maybe there are some parts that were real. Certainly the front entryway looks like
I can see the dome
building.
being something somewhere that they used, but of course the ice castle is fake. I thought that. I mean, I think there's places that can make ice furniture, but then you have to maintain it, right?
Yeah.
It's not comfortable for humans for it to be ice furniture, let alone try and get naked on it.
Iceland famously is south of Greenland. Like, Iceland melts at parts of the year, whereas Greenland is the one that's always frozen. And I wonder
audience doesn't need to know that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if the filmmakers got it confused and they were like, it's Iceland. That's where the ice is.
Yeah. All right.
But, we get to meet Graves. He's on his speedster to try to get the best land speed record. He greets Bond, and they're going to have a party tonight. We're going to have a party to see.
Party.
Yeah. We also get to meet the New Zealand villain, Mr. Kill. He's not going to be in this movie for long, but I like him. I like Mr. Kill.
It's like, does he die or does he just not show up anymore? Oh,
he's not going to make it out of Iceland. But I like him, and I'm glad he gets speaking parts. I'm a fan of Mr. Kill, despite him barely being in this movie. But Bond, he's hanging out at the party, and we get to see that Jinx is here, and she's also hanging out at the party, but they're still playing coy and pretending that they don't know the other is a spy.
Yeah, like, why would she be here if she weren't a spy?
Yeah. Why does she keep showing up? Like, he has met Wei Lin. He knows that this is what spies do. Surely he has to know. But whatever. Graves is going to introduce Icarus, and it is a space laser. Yeah!
We love space lasers.
Yeah, man. We've got it for the second or third time in these movies. We had one in Diamonds Are Forever.
There we go.
Trying to remember other space lasers that we had, because I thought we had one more. Diamonds Are Forever.
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. I don't think we've got any others, but we've got another one called Icarus. And it's even bigger than all the other ones we've seen before, because this one can function as a mirror. It can bring sunlight to parts of the world that wouldn't be getting sunlight. So, if you're in the winter time and you can't grow crops, well, use Icarus and it will generate sunlight during the winter. It's an interesting idea, but the way he describes it by saying like this focuses the power of the sun. Like anytime someone says that it focuses the power of the sun, I immediately think laser. It's going to be a laser.
Mm-hmm. It is a laser.
Of course it's a laser. Yeah. We won't get to see it be a laser yet, unfortunately, because first we got to try to break into this place. Like, we got to figure out what's going on. So that evening, separately, both Bond and Jinx decide to break in. And I do like watching them both go about their infiltration separately. Mr. Kill catches Bond at one point because Bond is just right outside a window looking inside.
Oh, yeah.
And Mr. Kill's like, go get him. But, Jinx decides to climb the dome. She scales through but with rope, but she is almost immediately captured. Fortunately, she almost got the job done.
Yeah.
Because she went straight to the lab. She found the dream machine. She wanted to kill Zhao or Graves. I don't know who she wanted to kill, but whoever was in that machine, she was ready to do it. And then she's caught by, because it's Zhao inside the machine. She lifts up the machine. She's like, Zhao. And then Graves uses his electric glove to shock her and put her in the laser mining area. I think
he even hands off that glove to Zhao.
Yeah.
So then Jinx is all tied up while Bond is trying to infiltrate. When Bond comes out of the water, because he cuts a hole in the ice in like the parking lot.
Yeah.
Kicks it, which I assume is he's kicking the ice on top of the water, which feels like it wouldn't compress very well, but maybe it would work.
Yeah, maybe.
Gets in through the water and he pops up in the foliage right as a guard is going by over a bridge. And the bridge is like just on his radio, but I feel like the actor turned just a little too far, and I feel like that guard sees Pierce Brosnan by accident. It's like, oh wait, I'm supposed to be not looking that way.
Yeah.
Oh crap.
Turns away real fast, like, don't see anything, don't see anything.
Yeah, so that one made me laugh.
I also love that Bond has his breather. Now, I cannot tell you where the breather came from.
Oh, yeah.
I remember it was a
previous
It was
Bond
Thunderball! Film. I can tell you! It was pin-sized and it was Thunderball because he could only use it for a little bit. Anyway, he just tosses the breather away as he's going up into the dome. Like, don't you want to use that? Like, maybe you'll need it later. Whatever.
Yeah.
Bond
can get there in time to save her.
Exactly. He gets into the mines. Zhao has already left after revealing that the mines are fake, but the lasers are real. And Mr. Kill wants to, kill Jinx with the lasers, not with a gun. And
really slow like.
Yeah.
Let Bond show up, though, so he can turn it off. Then attack Bond.
Yes. And then just like Goldfinger, we've got someone who's about to be killed by a laser until Bond stops it. And, I hate this laser image that keeps approaching Halle Berry. Because, like, the weld is CG. Like, the cut that the laser left is computer generated and it looks so bad. And I just keep remembering Goldfinger when they had, someone on set underneath where the laser was using a torch to create the effect of the metal being cut. And they forgot how to do that. Like they can't do it anymore. Like whatever.
It's very difficult.
It is very difficult, apparently. And then they have their laser fight. Mr. Kill and Bond get to fight with all the lasers around, and I hate it. I hate this fight so much.
Yeah, lasers not great.
Yeah, it goes on way too long, but eventually Catwoman gets her hands on the controls, and she uses a laser to kill, well, Mr. Kill. And my favorite villain is dead.
Darn.
I only got him for like 3 scenes, and now he's gone.
That's like Terry Hatcher.
Yeah, exactly.
That one was.
Yeah, but they
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Oh, sorry, I missed the question.
I wasn't sure if it was Tomorrow Never Dies or what, because I think the media company was Tomorrow something.
Yeah, that was
and that's
Tomorrow
the
Never
only
Dies.
way I remember.
Yep, it's the one with the media guy who really loves to bloviate.
Yeah, I think that this one is going to get a higher score than that one.
Really?
I
Okay.
just can't handle bloviating dude. And like, maybe if they didn't put him on screen and have like, you know, what do you call it? From Heavyweights, Tony's helpers and like film crew. Like this feels like what do you call it? Percusizing or something? Whatever is this exercise deal.
Oh, it's been so long since I've seen Heavyweights. I know what you're talking about. I know the character and the documentary crew he takes around with him everywhere. I want to watch that movie again because it's been a very long time, and I remember loving that movie as a kid.
That's pretty good. But that's what that one reminded me of. So I feel like this one is definitely above that one. Wow.
All right. Well, let's let's keep going and see if I can talk you out of it. All right. So the alarm goes off finally. After
intruder alert.
Yeah, like so much stuff has happened, and now they're running around going crazy, but somehow Bond and Jinx are able to get away, but they get separated. Bond goes out into the parking lot and he's captured again, but this time it's by Miranda, and she's smooching on him. And I think she reveals
so we don't get caught.
That she's a spy here. I think this is where it happens.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's like, M told me that you were going to set all of this off and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, Bond plays around and he's like, oh, you got to put your back into it. You got to really pretend that you are one of us. And
wait, I think that comes before they get laser mouth by the New Zealand or something, because
they cut off Mr. Kill's arm, they go back into the lab, they see the dream machine, and that's when they discover that Graves is actually Moon. Bond is like, this is Colonel Moon, this is a DNA sequencer. So that's the big reveal for Bond, that's the big reveal for the audience, although I think the audience already knew. I think Graves revealed earlier with Zhao that he had been in there, but because they now know this is when they split up. Bond is like, you go find Miranda, she's gonna be able to get you in touch with MI6, and I'm gonna go kill Graves because that's what I gotta do. But they do have some in-between sequence where Miranda helps Bond get away, and I can't place that scene. That's where I'm like, well, when did that happen?
Invisible car, intruder alert, Miranda saves him, and that's when they go to get naked in the ice room, and Jinx gets caught.
Okay, so it's
Bond has his cover story that we were totally in
the room making
in the room, and then he goes and the laser.
Okay,
and
that's where it is. Then I just kept trying to figure out where on earth did Bond find the time to sleep with Miranda.
He confronts Graves and then finds out that Miranda is a double agent.
And she emptied out the gun under Bond's pillow.
Gun.
Yeah.
And something, I don't know what the line is, but Bond says, the coldest weapon of all. And I think he's referring to her, her proficiency at lovemaking or something.
I was about to say,
like,
her lady bits.
Yeah, I'm like, well, okay. I did say boo to that innuendo and to that double entendre.
It also left my brain because it was so bad.
It's a bad joke.
We now know that Miranda's part of the baddies. She's one of the henchmen. And Bond gets to use his ring, his super cool ring.
Escape.
Yeah, because he ducks down, the floor is made of glass, and he's able to escape. But Jinx, critically, is still captured. Bond gets to go to his car, which we must remind you is invisible, and everybody's looking for Bond. They all want to find him. He hides behind his car, the car that takes pictures of one end and projects it to the other end. Therefore, Bond should be very visible as he's getting into his car.
Of course. Oh boy.
But even that isn't the part that made me jump onto Discord last night to type in a line. No, it was immediately after when a snowmobile plows into the back of the invisible car, disrupting all of the cameras and allowing Zhao to see where the Vanquish is. Or I guess it's called the Vanish when it's made by Q-Tech. Yeah. But he points at the car and he says, "All units report now!" And everybody gets on their snowmobiles and starts riding. Nobody reported. Not a single person reported. They all scrambled. So he should have said, "All units scramble." I don't know why it bothers me so much that he demands that they report when he wants them to leave.
Yeah. Man, I must have missed an entire part because they chase him.
Yeah.
Throw him off of a cliff in the racer. And, I am just rewatching this a little bit because...
the
you might be
chase,
convincing me to drop the
vehicle chase happened after. All right, I'm ahead of myself. I'm sorry. Let's go back. You were right. He's got to get into the glider, the ice glider, because the space laser is going to happen.
Yeah. He's trying to chase him with the space laser. He shows the generals the space laser. Bond goes over the edge, but hooks on to his thing.
Anchor?
When the villains decide, we're going to cut off that bit of ice, we have face-up shots of the Colonel guy, and then he smiles, and we have a close-up of Zhao, and he smiles, and then the dude's like ice racer timer guy gives his goofy smile. And it's all just close-ups of their faces.
So after they cut the ice, we'll come back to the ice in a moment, but after they cut the ice, all three of them then strike a pose.
Yeah. Global warming is a terrible thing.
Yes, my gosh. And he's got his arms crossed while Zhao is kind of standing with his arms akimbo, and the engineer, I think, is like got his hand on his chin. Like, it's this anime looking pose, and it is so lame.
It is not as lame as Bond grabbing a parachute and the top of the racer to then surf a tidal wave,
and it's not even Bond surfing it.
Back up.
It's a CG Bond surfing it.
Yeah, that I must have missed that bit of CG because
when it's close up, it's green screen Pierce Brosnan doing all of the motions to try to look like he is windsurfing. But if it is a full body shot and he's on the waves, that is a CG model. That they just put in a CG environment. You are watching a video game render on screen. Yeah. And Oh, it looks terrible. And but Bond is able
It's
to, hold on to the parachute the whole time.
Yeah, it's a shame that horrible bit comes right before the car fight that Zhao and Bond get in.
See, but I hate the car fight too.
I mean, the one flip I enjoy, so I'll give that.
I am okay with the escape seat, or the rocket escape seat from, I think it was Goldfinger again. That was the first time that we had the escape seat. But that is a clever idea, using that to launch the car back onto its wheels. It just doesn't make sense that Zhao matches every move that Bond does, including their front missiles.
Cool car.
Yes, he's got a Jaguar that is very cool and kitted out with weapons. But critically, they both have missiles tucked underneath the grill. Bond has 2 of them, and Zhao has like 60. And Bond fires his 2, Zhao fires 2 of his 60, and then he puts his missiles away? Like, come on, dude, you had 1,000,000 shots left.
I mean, maybe I just like the pretty cars. It's my same thing with like Star Wars spaceships. You could show me a cool spaceship battle and be like, that was fine, keep that in.
And I will never deny the cars. Again, early 2000s sports cars, to me, are pinnacle of engineering. Like that, we have reached our peak. And the Jaguar and the Aston Martin, they look incredible on the screen. Yeah. I do love both of the cars. I hate the action sequence. I love the pretty cars.
Yeah. There are 1,000,000 missiles in that green car.
Yeah, and he just puts them away. He's just done with them.
Yeah. Well, so that car chase, it goes on for a bit.
It does, and it even changes locations to go, inside of the ice palace that is now being melted by the space laser. And, all of this is because Jinx is drowning. She is in one of the suites, locked in. The ice palace is melting, and she is drowning inside of it. But Bond can't get to her because Zhao is still chasing him. And I don't know. I don't like the conclusion of the chase either. We've been watching Bond struggle to get the invisibility working again on the car ever since that snowmobile hit him in the back. And now, he is in position to be T-boned. The Jag has these 2 forks in the front, and Zhao is charging after Bond. And finally, Bond is able to turn the invisibility on, and magically, he's also able to get away in the split second between turning invisible and driving, and that causes Zhao to crash, blah, 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 blah. It's all tech. It's all the cool stuff. I just get upset that, I don't know, the timing is so convenient that I'm just like, come on. He would have clipped the car, or he would have seen Bond driving up that little hill,
Yeah.
Both things don't happen that quickly. That's my beef.
Yeah. I enjoyed the getting drenched in an ice castle in a car and busting into the ice. Looks cool. But yeah. Invisibility's granted too quickly to also move that fast.
It's really just the end of the fight that bugs me, but I will give you cool-looking cars. That is a point in its favor. I will give you the escape seat, or that rocket-propelled seat being used to flip the car back over. That is still cool. And almost the entirety of driving inside the ice castle is cool.
They're sliding around.
Yeah, it's really just the end that I don't like, but as the 2 cars are driving around, I'm having a great time. So I will give the ice castle a thumbs up. That is fun. What I won't give a thumbs up is how Bond both finds and revives Jinx.
She's drowning
in a cold room. That's what we need to believe in order for the next part to work. Bond uses his sonic ring to break the glass on his vehicle to get Jinx inside. And then they quickly drive to the hot spring, because if it was cold water that killed her, it'll be hot water that brings her back to life.
Oh, I guess I didn't think about that one.
Yeah. I mean, at least we got Bond shooting the chandelier to kill Zhao finally, but I don't know. I don't love the fact that it's hot water that brings Jinx back to life, but whatever. She's alive, and Graves and Miranda have escaped Iceland. So it's time to get our butts in gear, and we got to get back into this thing. Now, okay, your confusion echoes my confusion, because the very next thing they do is we get to see MI6 and the NSA working together again in that command center. M and the head of the NSA are still yelling at each other, but then Bond walks in and the head of the NSA offers his hand for a handshake. And we're all supposed to be like, yay, America and the UK love each other again. We're friends.
It's just fine. It's all happy.
Yeah. But that's when the strike happens, I believe. No, it doesn't happen then. They just go to North Korea. They are able to convince M and everybody else that Gustav Graves is actually Colonel Moon, and that he's going back to North Korea. And so they're put on an airplane, and they're given CG little like mini airplanes.
Yeah, like drones to drop in, but you just leave the drone when you're ready.
Yeah, like it's a glider, but you're also on a parachute. Yeah. Like it's interesting. It's a weird thing, but you know, in the service of cool, this is one of those things that actually does kind of look cool, so I will forgive it.
Well, they dive in because they somehow know where he's going to be, and so they're going to go take him out with a sniper rifle.
Yeah, so they know he's at an Air Force base, a North Korean Air Force base, and they get fully set up as snipers on the outside of the base. They've got the ghillie suits and everything. Like, they are fully
just
prepared.
Can't do it.
But yeah, you're right. They decide for whatever reason, Bond can't take the shot. So instead, they're going to cut open the fence and run onto the plane.
Yep. It's just easier to, run into the
heavily guarded base.
Yeah. Just run on in. Nobody's watching the airstrip.
Nope.
Except the people in the tower that are...
And what are they going to do? It's like... What do they got? Someone? Yeah, radios or something.
Yeah, this part.
If this were cinema, no, it's not called Cinema Sins. Pitch meeting. If this were pitch meeting, this would be the barely an inconvenience portion.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
They're in. They made it.
Because I said it will happen.
Yeah. But yes, you're right. They get onto the airplane, and this is when Graves dons his exoskeleton, his super suit, and reveals that this whole time he wanted to just reignite the North and South Korean war. And that was all he wanted to do. And he reveals himself to his dad. He's like, don't you recognize me, your white son?
No. Oh, that part kind of killed me because he's got his eye display down in front of his eyes, and he turns around in his full suit to his father and like says, "Hey, look at me!" And it's like, if you didn't have the eye stuff, you might look less silly.
Yes,
but that is silly.
Oh, man. Yeah, it all starts to kind of fall apart. General Moon, he grows a pair, and he's like, I'm not going to let you start this war, but Graves kills his own father.
He's disappointed. I'm like, so you kill your father for being disappointed in his reaction, but he threatens you for what you're doing. Like, y'all seem like you're made for each other.
Yeah, they are never satisfied with each other. No matter what, father and son are always mad.
Yeah.
But Bond shows up, and they're going to have their fight. They're going to start their fight, and at some point, a gun goes off, and it depressurizes the entire plane. Somehow Jinx was able to get up to the cockpit because she's there as everything starts depressurizing. A bunch of people get sucked out into open air, including the engineer, the guy that has been anime posing for the back half of this movie.
Grinning and being silly.
Yeah, he's gone now.
I think the Icarus was already getting fired at that point, right?
Yes, and at one point, Jinx even flies the plane into Icarus, like the path of the laser. That's towards the end of the fight. There's so much stuff that happens, and almost none of it matters. So I am kind of skipping ahead towards the end of the fight when we now have Jinx versus Miranda and Graves versus Bond on a separate floor, but both fights are
Miranda's
happening.
just like she was halfway done getting into her villain outfit.
Yes. She's just running around with her sports bra.
I mean, okay. I mean, that's fine. Because then Jinx gets her fatigue top off so she can be in her tank top. And
so we can have a tank top fight.
Yeah, basically. I'm like, okay. Did this happen in a previous Bond?
Let's not forget, Jinx is played by an Academy Award-winning actress. Guys, we gotta remember. That's true.
Like, what did she win for? I could see it being something else.
She won it in 2002 for Best Actress, and it was Monsters Ball, which I think I've tried to watch, but I'm not a big fan of dramas in general, and so I've had trouble staying focused during it. But I know that she can act. I have seen her act well. This is not a Denise Richards situation where it's like, well, it's okay. She could never act anyway. Like,
well, the end of the fight. Oh, right. Oh my gosh.
Well, I was going to say, which end do you want to talk about? Because both end pretty close to each other.
Yeah, they really do. I think Miranda gets stabbed and kicked with a knife through The Art of War, so Jinx wins that movie.
And she has some line about like reading. I don't know. She had some line. I remember like registering it and being like, oh, okay, she's got her one-liner, but I can't even remember what was said. It was so bad.
Essentially, all of this, these fights are just the up in the sky part. The Icarus is burning a line towards the demilitarization zone or through that zone. So it's knocking out mines.
Yeah.
But the Americans and British are like, we're gonna unleash everything if they cross that line. And it's like, I guess so, okay.
Presumably half of the demilitarized zone has been cleared. Like, they could still have their war even after all is said and done. But, we got to go back to Bond and Graves, and they're having their fight. And at this point in the fight, for some reason, Bond is down on the ground, rolling death saving throws. Like, he is out of commission, and Graves is standing and he grabs 2 parachutes, and he's like, oh, look, a parachute for each of us. And then tosses one of them out the window and says, whoops, never mind. It's as far as his villainous moments go, I'm going to give him that one. He can have that one. That's okay. Thumbs up.
It's the mustache twirl moment.
Yes. Thumbs up to his parachute mustache twirl.
Oh, but like right before he kills his dad, I feel like he pushes the button on his suit on the chest and it like electrocutes the dad.
Yeah, like it's a full body defense thing for the outside of the suit. Like that's what I picked up.
Because
yes,
the end of the Bond fight, Bond gets close enough to the guy to pull his ripcord, the parachute goes out, tries to suck him out, and Bond goes and pushes the button, but the button
electrocutes the inside of the suit?
Guy. Yeah. It's like, why did that electrocute you?
Yeah.
I mean, essentially it's because I wrote that it did so.
Yes.
But
maybe they're saying because he's holding onto the plane, then it comes back and electrocutes him, whereas before it was, an organic body holding onto him that he'll. I'm reaching for straws at this point, being like, surely there is an explanation. There is not one. They wanted it to electrocute him. It's a button on his chest that Bond can press and electrocute him. I will say I kind of liked, he had this look of utter bewilderment at the fact that he was about to lose. That kind of reminded me of Christopher Walken's Zoran villain when he was at the end of his movie. Oh, snap. Now
Didn't he fall from a blimp or something?
Yeah.
What is he?
That was A View to a Kill. He wasn't... He had left the blimp, which was stuck on the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh, right.
And then he's he's desperately trying to get a hold of that giant structure of the Golden Gate Bridge. And he has this weird, sadistic laugh as he realizes that he's about to fall to his death. And while Graves does not laugh, he does have this look in his eyes that I will give the actor credit. He has this kind of panicked confusion that washes over his face that just kind of reminds me of A View to a Kill. So one more tiny thumbs up. It's a little one. It's a very little baby thumbs up, but I'm going to give it to him.
Yeah. Well, that ends Bond's fight. That ends Jinx's fight, and they turn off the thing because the plane is coming apart. The plane turns off the switch, I guess.
Killing Graves turned off Icarus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because that was what shut off the laser. That's when they know, Icarus is down. They can shoot missiles at it. Maybe. It made it sound to me as though it's on a automatic self-defense system and that the control suit has nothing to do with it defending itself, but whatever.
It does not make much sense why that happens. Or why there's a window on the side of a plane that's that big.
Well, so you can look out of it. Bond...
You've convinced me.
Bond finds Jinx. Jinx is panicking in a corner. Preparing to die, but she's still got time for a couple of one-liners and a couple of zingers. I will point out one more time that Bond is weird around dead women because as soon as he sees Miranda's corpse, he really kind of mourns over that body in a weird way again. 4 movies in a row, I don't know, man. Brosnan has a weird way of dealing with dead women. Trying to give him a
little humanity, I guess. I don't know.
Some love before they go off to hell. And yeah. But, he gets Jinx back on her feet. They run down to the rear cargo area of the plane where there's a helicopter and a bunch of luxury cars.
How lucky. Helicopter, I mean. Take it with you wherever you go.
I don't know why Bond has to lift the latch for the engine that runs the conveyor belt that controls everything, but I guess it's for us, the audience, to see it working. But maybe there is a safety reason that you would have to expose the crank to make sure that nothing gets caught underneath it. I don't know. I'm, again, trying to justify why the movie decided to show us very specific imagery. And I don't know why, but we needed to see Bond lift that latch. Here's a did you know. Did you know it's actually safer between an airplane and a helicopter, and also depending on who is piloting it, but with an experienced pilot, it's actually safer to be in a dead helicopter than a dead airplane. And that is because with the wings, you need usually some kind of power in order to control the pivot of the wings, and you need to be going in a straight direction. If you start to lose momentum, the nose is going to point downwards, and there's nothing you can do about that. Whereas a helicopter, you can use a crank to turn the direction of the blades up above, so you can get them to catch the air and start naturally spinning, which will slow down your free fall. So they make it sound like they're dropping and, Jinx is panicking like they're going to die. And she's like, I told you I'm a Jinx. And I'm sitting here knowing in real life that they are in a preferential situation to what they were previously in. And I'm like, no, they're good. They're good.
Things are going better.
Yeah, why are they panicking? They're in the best spot they've been all movie.
Oh, I think they barely get it started and kind of fly close to the ground.
Yeah, and we get to see the sports cars sticking out of some presumably North Korean farmlands. But yeah, mission is over. It is time for our epilogue, and we are back in MI6, where this time we're focused on Miss Moneypenny in the office, and Bond wants to he wants to do his paperwork with her.
This is the only part that made me think, oh, maybe they kind of knew this was the last one, because like Bond and Moneypenny get a moment to basically make out and get going, and then it's played for a laugh that she's actually using the same goggles that Bond had been using.
We still don't have Moneypenny and Bond actually together, even though Samantha Bond has been my favorite Miss Moneypenny, even more than the original. I like the original. Yeah. I think she's my second favorite so far. But Samantha Bond, maybe it's because her last name is Bond, but she's also had so many good zingers in her movies that I like her. I like her as Miss Moneypenny. She's got good lines.
I think it would have been interesting to bring her back.
I agree.
To the Daniel Craig ones.
I kind of wish that we got both Judi Dench and Samantha Bond for the Daniel Craig movies, but fine, whatever. At least we got Judi Dench. We can be happy knowing that. I do love when Q is like, yeah, it's a lot harder than it looks. And Miss Moneypenny's like, yeah. And I was like, ew, they're talking about sex and Q doesn't know it. But in the real world, Bond and Jinx have, I guess, just broken into some random hut that they found.
With all these diamonds that I don't remember when they picked them up.
They were just in the helicopter because Jinx was like, at least we're gonna die rich. So they just appeared, but now they get to do sexy times with and on diamonds.
Oh my gosh, the entire lead up is supposed to just give you the double entendre. Cringe, and it successfully did that. But there are no henchmen and there are no awkward video calls from MI6. So
M is specifically not looking for him, and as I look at the wiki, it makes it sound as though at least in the VR world that Miss Moneypenny was in, she was reading over Bond's resignation paperwork. But again, that was just in the dream of the virtual reality. So, but that is what we are left at with this movie, is a virtual reality version of Bond resigning from MI6 and M having zero interest in trying to figure out where Bond is at the end of the movie. So I think you're right. He is still a rogue agent at the end of this movie.
No 00 status.
Yep.
He cannot kill anyone legally.
Yep. He is unlicensed to kill.
Well, that is where it ends, except we get the remix of the song, and I feel like close my body is just a weird verb. Like, yeah. Why, exactly what are you doing?
Every line in that song doesn't make any sense. And I love the original version of that song. I hate the techno remix at the end of these credits. It makes me angry, but we have done it. We have made it through another movie. We are at the end of the Brosnan era. And as I say, at the end of all of these little discussions of the movie, we on Potato Chip Pictures do reviews and not grades. Or rather, we do ratings and not grades. See, a grade would say a 7 out of 10 is the average because they don't want a student to feel bad. But really, the average is the middle. It's the 5 out of 10, and that is the difference. That is a rating. So, as you listen to us give our ratings, just remember the average, the middle area for a movie is a 5 out of 10. Above that, we are looking at a good movie. Below that, we're looking at a bad movie. You're allowed to like bad movies. There's at least A View to a Kill. I gave it a 3 out of 10. I will watch it any day of the week. I know it's a bad movie. I still love it. So, with all of that out of the way, Justin, would you please tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate Die Another Day?
I was starting at a 6, and then I got another eyeful of the CG surfing, and a couple more thoughts on the gene therapy and then the actor stuff. I'm putting it in the middle. It was an average movie with equally bad parts, as many bad parts as there are good parts. So I enjoyed Cuba. I enjoyed what's my other fun things? I mean, I always enjoy Q. If I were to go back knowing it has more stuff, I would definitely see that scene to see what is going on.
I will go back really quick and say that I did like Q. Compared to the last movie, I think John Cleese did a much better job playing the character this time.
I feel like I like that it focused just on the entire plot from beginning to end. Like, it was taking down this Icarus guy in North Korea, technically Zhao, but like, there's no side plot that started or got, well, the mole side plot, but that's about it.
But Bond's the only one who cares about that plot.
And didn't care hard enough to stop it, so that's unfortunate. So 5 out of 10. That's me.
All right.
Right in the middle.
You are closer in line with critics. So as we started recording, before we got started proper, I opened up the regular ratings and I was shocked to see that Rotten Tomatoes put this at a 56%, or, roughly a 5.5 out of 10. And IMDb puts it at a 6 out of 10. And I'm sitting here thinking that I'm watching a totally different movie than everybody else because, frankly, I'm at a 1 out of 10. I hate this movie. I think that this is the worst of every movie we have watched so far.
Oh boy.
I was looking at my other 2s because I have 2 2s and 1 3. My other 2s are Thunderball and Live and Let Die. And I would watch either of those over watching Die Another Day. I think this movie is so bad. And that's why I was shocked when I saw the aggregate reviews. I was like, how are people putting this in the middle? Like, how are they being so friendly to this movie to give it an average rating? Because this is not like anywhere close to what a Bond movie should be. So there are probably worse movies out there in the world. And I don't know if there is any movie in this franchise that I could call a 10 out of 10. The highest I have gone so far is 7 out of 10. But I'm comfortable with putting this at a 1. I am comfortable saying this is the bottom. This is as bad as it gets for the franchise.
Interesting. Well, that's like your opinion, man.
I was just about to say, so that puts us at a show average of 3 out of 10, which is not the lowest movie between the two of us.
Live and Let Die was special.
Yep, that one is 2.25. That one, that's the racist one. And that one, I think as a show, I'm very comfortable with that one continuing to stay at the bottom, even though in my eyes, this week's movie was significantly worse. I think between the two of us, we both got very different things out of this movie, which speaks to its quality. That, you know, we both can get something out of it. Whereas Live and Let Die, we both, I think, if I remember correctly, we both were like, wow, this movie is racist.
Yeah. I think that's where we were.
Yeah. Alrighty then, we have made it through another one, and when we come back next week, we are starting the Daniel Craig era. We are going to be entering the final reboot period. There's only a 4-year difference between this movie and the next movie, but enough had changed that they really did kind of think, let's reboot again. Let's just try it again. And that's where we are going to be. Me before you, because I'm going to watch it tonight. If you have enjoyed yourself and you want to help this show out, there are many ways to do so. One of the best ways is to leave a rating or a review on your podcatcher of choice. If it's leaving a comment or subscribing, that helps as well. Also, the good old-fashioned sharing of the episode. That's another great way to help out. If we had some takes that you were like, oh man, my buddy would just flip if he heard this, send us to your buddy. Let him flip. Let him send us comments telling us how bad we are, and I'll read every single one of them. You can also leave those comments on our Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, where we post our shorts 7 days a week. And then, of course, if you want to get in touch with us directly, the best way to do so is to email us at potatochippictureспod@gmail.com. All right. I don't think I'm forgetting anything, am I?
Oh, no, I don't believe so. We will continue with Casino Royale.
You are correct.
Upon a more recent watch, I found that one still pretty good.
I'm excited to rewatch it because I have not seen this one in at least a decade. I know I saw it in theaters, and I think I came away with mixed feelings about it. Like at the time, I remember thinking Daniel Craig was perfect. And so I was like, yes, absolutely, let's keep going with Daniel Craig. I kind of think I was bored by the movie itself. And so I'm excited to come back to it to see if I still feel that way. But we will find out when Potato Chip Pictures and James Bond return in Casino Royale. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye. Yeah, man, I'm excited for Daniel Craig. He has become my favorite Bond of them all.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just have a soft spot for the single movie guy.
Yeah.
forgot his name.
Lazenby is,
Lazenby.
poor guy. He really did a great job for only one movie, but yeah. And then I think about Brosnan, and when I think about the character of James Bond, that's the face that I picture.
Oh, yeah.
I really only liked 2 of his 4 movies, but I still see his face when I think of James Bond as a character. It's just imprinted in my head. All right.
I agree. Brosnan was the first Bond like, the movies were released while I was alive, I think. Yeah. So that's probably why.
Well, you were born in the 80s, right? Or are you younger than I think you were?
But I wouldn't have recalled when those were released.
I wouldn't have been, because I was born in 84. And so my earliest memories are like 88, 89. So License to Kill would have come out, and I doubt that would have had any type of impact on my 5-year-old brain.
Yeah, right.